Hello there and welcome to Superscreen News at 6, broadcasting to you live from Lagos. I am Blessed Omonuse. Report says there is tight security in the National Assembly with marked security men, especially around the Senate chamber and the foyer. Across all entry points to the National Assembly, police were mounting surveillance just as struck of Guard Brigade, police armored tanks and vehicles. Meanwhile, senators have seen entered into a closed-door section awaiting the arrival of the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris. Idris is expected to appear today over the arrest of Senator Dino Melaye and the killings in some parts of the country in line with the order paper. Senate President Bukola Saraki says the failure of the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, to show up for security briefing on the killings across the country is a threat to democracy. The Senate had invited Idris to brief it on the killings in the country, and for the second time, the IG has declined to make physical appearance. Ibrahim, who was supposed to appear before the Senate, sent Deputy IG Josak Habila, which the lawmaker has condemned, saying it could jeopardize democracy. Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters is expected to present its report today to President Muhammadu Buhari for approval for the payment of $496 million out of the excess crude account for the purchase of military aircraft. The 12 Super Tucano aircraft ordered for the United States will be delivered in 2020. The Senate had earlier reserved to refer the matter to the Committee for Legal Advice when lawmakers became divided on it. The panel was given the mandate to investigate the circumstances surrounding the arms deal and whether the President violated the Constitution or not. Meanwhile, Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris is expected to appear before the Senate today. The IG will be grilled by the lawmakers on the arrest, detention and hospitalization of Senator Dino Melaye. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitments to the welfare of its workforce. The Vice President, Yemi Oshibanjo, disclosed this at the 2018 Workers' Day celebration held in Abuja. Vice President commended the resilience of the Nigerian workers and called for their continued support for the success of the present administration.
I thank you for your continued patience, all workers of this nation, and for the great sacrifices that you continue to make to move our nation forward. Nigerian workers are, by any estimation, the most patriotic segment of the population. You are amongst the most committed taxpayers. Your taxes are deducted at source, so there's no question that you pay your taxes. Hence, nobody can deny you the right to interrogate government and how public funds are expended at all times. You remain amongst the few organizations that have risen above primordial sentiments and have gone across tribe, ethnicity, and religion to come together to unite in a common purpose. We believe that the worst is over for Nigeria. Accordingly, we will do everything within our powers to sustain the current economic recovery efforts. We'll continue to reinforce our macroeconomic policies to achieve sustainable economic stability and growth. We'll also continue to ensure that growth comes along with jobs and that there is a just distribution of wealth. This administration has come this far, always counting on the continued support and goodwill of organized labor. I'm confident that together we will achieve our objective of building a united, strong and prosperous nation.
Minister of Labor and Productivity Chris Ngige also called on organized labor to assist the federal government fight against corruption and other vices plaguing the country.
The leadership of the labor movement is expected at all times to impart frankness to members of the movement. The leadership is expected to constructively engage the government and other employers through social dialogue, which is considered a veritable instrument of negotiation and communication in any sound national industrial relations system. I specifically call on you to join the government of Muhammadu Buhari in this fight against corruption and other ancillary matters. This will be a battle worthwhile, as the output will stand the test of time and majorly contribute to national development.
Addressing the gathering, President of the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC), Ayuba Waba said issues such as welfare and protection of workers should be given adequate attention towards addressing the unfavorable policy and increase the minimum wage from 18,000 to 66,500. NLC leader Ayuba Waba speaking there. Workers have been admonished to get their PVCs to vote out bad government of corruption and impunity. The NLC chairman Adelakun Idowu, who disclosed these at Agege Stadium in Lagos, charged leaders to embrace the right values or attributes needed to deliver on good governance. Details in this report.
International Labour Day, also known as Workers' Day and May Day, is celebrated all over the world on May 1st of every year. And the rationale is to promote and encourage workers who invariably use the day to fight for their rights through advocacy in the area of exploitation and indignation. At this year's May Day, Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode promised to improve on workers' welfare, while the Minister of Labour and Productivity, Chris Ngige, who was represented, called for better relationship of both parties.
It is on record that we have never, since the inception of this administration, had any dispute with the organized labor, and I'll be the first to admit that the labor unions in Lagos State are the most responsible, and it's a fact that only those who dare to struggle may win. Yet, these agitations and struggles must be focused on realistic and reasonable goals.
The role of labor is pivotal to national development. For the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment, and indeed the federal government of Nigeria, the networks and value of workers cannot be overemphasized, considering that workers constitute the human capital, which is the singular most critical factor in the product of change.
The Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress (TUC) called the governor's attention to affordable housing, reduction of land use charge, and payment of 66,500 naira minimum wage.
His Excellency the Governor of State must be commended for prompt and regular disbursement of salary to workers in Lagos State. The state government is not indebted to our workers. It is our hope and expectation that when the national minimum wage is reviewed upward, it will be embraced and implemented by our digital governor.
We passionately appeal to you to engage the House of Assembly to slow down the increase, especially at this trying economic time. Any increase in the large use charge, especially on the rented apartment, we pass on to tenants who are mostly workers.
The NLC and trade unions' theme is a labor movement in national development, a dare to struggle, a dare to win. Other activists and workers also speak in the same direction.
Government must create an enabling environment. There must be that ambience of security. There must be the cost of education has almost hit the roof. Government must ensure that they cushion the effects of the excruciating effect.
66,500 is no controversy. We are all out to get that. We held a public hearing few days ago, precisely last week, at the Alasa Hall there. NLCTC in Lagos State, they are out for that minimum wage.
You will appreciate all the demands of the union. The governor have done that. So the governor respected the government and the government too respected the government. That's why you see peaceful atmosphere in Lagos State for the past 3 years.
Workers from different associations and unions march one after the other in commemoration of the day as the governor of Lagos State, Akinwumi Ambode, waved in return.
As Nigerian workers say, another man for year 2018, the whole lot of issues have been highlighted, part of which is for the Lagos State government to ensure that the land use charge is being reverted or reduced. They have also called on the Lagos State government to ensure that housing is affordable for an average worker. It remains to be seen how Lagos State government under Governor Akinwumi Ambode make their demands a reality. Until then, I'm Adenike Uweyajiboye reporting from Superscreen.
Meanwhile, the United Labour Congress, ULC, has advocated 96,000 naira minimum wage as against the 65,500 naira demanded by the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and Trade Union Congress, TUC. Chairman of ULC, Tokunbo Okorodu, made the demand known recently at the Workers' Day celebration held at the National Stadium, Surulere, Lagos State. The reports.
The United Labour Congress, ULC, and their entire administrative council and workers converged at the National Stadium in Surulere to celebrate this year's Workers' Day, and the union wasted no time in making their demands of 96,000 naira minimum wage known.
The inefficiency of the government cannot be placed before the labor or the workers. If our government officials are not knowledgeable enough to have enough wisdom to handle this thing, this is the time for you to rise up and get them replaced.
All we are asking for is that they should let Nigerian workers live the same way, live a decent life, the same way that the other average Nigerian lives. We just want to, we want to be alive too, like others. And so we are asking for a minimum wage of 96,000 naira, and we hope that the minimum wage, as is being negotiated, action on it will be expedited by next month.
Demand basically now is 96,000 naira. You understand? And we believe so much that with the economic situation of the country today, anything less than 96,000 naira is a no-no. It's a no-no. Because as it is today, what workers are earning is not a living wage.
Superscreen crew was quick to ask them how achievable this demand is, judging from the government's inability to meet the demands of the NLC and the TUC, which is 65,500 naira. And their next line of action if the demands are not granted.
They have all the power. What they all need is willpower, which is lacking in them right now. So cancel privatization. People, electricity will privatize, that will have more light. Rather than we now have less light. That then means that no work done.
The problem we have in Nigeria is that it's appropriation of funds. If they know how much a member of the National Assembly gain, they can pay 90 workers the salary of one member of National Assembly. All we are saying, without even going deeper into our funds, we can reduce the fund of government earners who virtually do nothing compared to what the worker does, and then pay the Nigerian worker. We can afford it. Undeniably, it's affordable. We're going to stop so many things. We're going to ensure that we don't answer name, or we own the land and somebody else is eating our money. If you look at the emancipation of these countries, it's the workers that led to that emancipation, and the political class took over. And up to today, they are not helping the Nigerian workers. The Nigerian workers own this land, not the political class. And therefore, the owners of the land should eat the fruit of the land.
We will continue to fight
We are United Labour Congress
for the increase in minimum wage. Because we see that is the only way to reward the teeming youths that had opportunity to render service. We can't continue to work and go home hungry. We are being called lazy youth. Of course, if you are not paid, if you don't pay a worker well, then don't blame him.
With the ULC Workers' Day theme being trade union movements and a quest for a viral economy, these workers march one after the other to celebrate the day. You will recall that the ULC broke out of the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress, and today they now celebrate their Workers' Day separately after struggle for supremacy.
Anthony Osaibovu, Superscreen News.
Still on labour matters, the leadership of the Trade Union Congress and the Nigerian Labour Congress has commended Governor Godswill Obaseki of the massive infrastructure development across the state. NLC State Chairman Marsha Hohi and the Chairman of the TUC Emmanuel Ademokun both described the deplorable state of some government-owned establishments and stated the need to create more jobs for youth in the state. On his part, Governor Godwin Obaseki expressed satisfaction over the massive support his administration has received from the labor leaders and vowed to continue to build more on the existing structure in the state. Away from labour matters now, the federal government has approved the establishment of an Air Force Ground Training Command in the southeast region of the country. The Chief of Air Staff, Nigerian Air Force, Sadiq Abubakar, who discussed this in Enugu at the groundbreaking ceremony, said the new command with other units across the country would add value to the task of ensuring Nigeria's territorial security. He also said the new command, which will give accelerated attention, will have a referral hospital to cater for the health needs of the personnel and host communities. The founder of Dar Communication PLC, Raymond Dokbesi, has filed separate charges against the federal government for including his name on the list of alleged looters of its treasury. In a suit filed at the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Dokbesi is asking the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, to pay 5 billion naira as damages for alleged defamation of his character. Dokbesi is also demanding a refund of 50 million naira, which he described as the cost of instituting the charge. In a similar motion, Dokbesi asked the court to issue an order enforcing his fundamental rights, allegedly abused by the defendants. The Niger State Police Command, has confirmed the arrest of 11 suspects in the recent Kachi-Pata bloody communal clashes in Kwa local government area of the state. The State Commissioner of Police, Diba Yakadi, who disclosed this, said a fight between two brothers from two different communities escalated into communal crisis over a parcel of land, leaving one dead. The police also said the command has deployed 70 policemen to restore peace and normalcy in the community. The absence of the third defendants, Yusuf Danjuma, has told the trial of two former ministers charged for laundering 4.6 billion naira at a federal high court in Lagos. The case, which was scheduled for continuation of cross-examination of a prosecution witness, could not go on because of the absence of the third accused. All the defendants who are being persecuted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has pleaded guilty. On counts 1 to 7, they were alleged to have unlawfully retained over 3.8 billion naira, and on counts 8 to 14, alleged to have unlawfully used over 970 million naira. You're still watching Superscreen News Overseas. We'll take a break, and when we return, we'll bring you our business reports. Please stay. Thanks for being there, and now to some business news. There was pandemonium at the headquarters of the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) on Tuesday following a fire incident at the generator house. The fire was said to have started few minutes after 6 p.m. and lasted about 30 minutes before it was put out. Journalists who visited the headquarters of the CBN observed that men of the Federal Fire Service (FFS) were at the scene to ensure that the fire did not get out of control. Assistant Controller FSL Bello Atayi, who spoke with journalists, attributed the fire incident to a technical fault at the generator house. When contacted, the Acting Director, Corporate Communications (CBN), Isaac Okorafor, however, said there was no fire at the Apex Bank. The Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria (PENGASIN) has asked the federal government to make it mandatory for international oil companies (IOCs) operating in the country to build refineries. In his May Day 2018 message, PENGASIN President Olabode Johnson said there should be a legal framework that would compel the IOCs to refine a certain percentage of crude oil they produce locally. PENGASIN have also commended the 8th National Assembly for passing the first part of the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill, PRGB. And still on business, the Osun State Internal Revenue Service, OIRS, has shut down the Obafemi Awolowo University, OAU, Ile-Ife, for its failure to remit 1.8 billion naira to its agency. The institution was shut by officials of the Revenue Task Force who arrived at the campus today. The team, led by Oladipo Babatunde, sealed the Senate chamber and the administrative building before proceeding to seal the main gate, leaving the pedestrian gate unlocked. The closure of OAU and other establishments in the state followed the expiration of the 7-day ultimatum issued to all affected establishments by the state government. President Muhammadu Buhari has called on both educated and uneducated Nigerian youth to embrace farming in order to earn respect for themselves. According to a statement by Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the president said planning in Nigeria must take into consideration the factors of climate change and a burden on youth population. He also promised the support of his administration in the promotion of skills development, innovation and entrepreneurship among the young population. Away from business now, we'll take a break, and when we return, we'll bring you foreign and sport news. Please stay with us.